Okay, action.
So the first thing we're going to be doing is we're going to be making the jig. And the jig has something called a strongback. So first we're going to start with making the strongback, which looks something like this when it's fully completed. All right, so in order to make the strongback, you're all going to take a piece of balsa wood, and we're going to create this center line here. And in order to do that, we have to first cut it in half. So we're going to create a center line. We're going to measure our balsa wood. And you're going to measure it in inches, making sure you go from the 0. And you'll see that your balsa wood should be approximately 4 inches. And so you would take your pen and just mark it with like a little dot at the 2-inch mark. And then what I like to do is I like to just bring it down a little bit more and mark it at the 2-inch mark. Bring it down a little bit more, mark it at the 2-inch mark. Bring it down further. And you're going to continue to do this until you get all the way to the bottom of the balsa wood. And so now I'm at the bottom of my balsa wood. And I mark it, keeping my ruler nice and straight. Then I'm going to take my ruler and line it up against the marks. And I'm going to draw a line. And I'm actually going to press down a little bit because I want to score my balsa wood. And scoring is when you are kind of digging into that wood. And if you score it well enough, you can just snap it in half, because we are scoring with the grain of the wood. And you'll see, if you look closely at your wood, there you will see like almost like lines, and that's going with the grain. So that's the first step of creating your strongback. Then what you want to do is you want to grab your lines drawing. And I'm going to put my lines drawing here. And now I'm going to measure. I'm going to just take one of my balsa woods. And I'm going to put it on my lines drawing. And we have forward perpendicular. We have 1, which is going to be where our first mold is going to go. 2, 3, 4, and aft perpendicular. And I'm going to line them up kind of right in that corner. And I'm just going to mark my lines. I'm not going to mark my forward perpendicular, but I'm going to mark my lines 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm also going to mark the bottom of the line, so you want to definitely make sure it's straight. 2, 3, 4. And at that 4th line, and then I'm going to also mark my aft perpendicular. And at my aft perpendicular line, I'm going to take my ruler, and again, I'm going to score my line. It's going to be a little bit more difficult because now you're going against the grain, but I'm going to try to score it as much as I can, which means I'm pressing down, and then I should be able to just pop it off in half. And so now I should have something that looks like this. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same thing with the other board. I don't need to mark, but I am going to mark my